On April 18, 2016, the body of fitness instructor Terri Lynn Missy Bevers was discovered at Creekside Church of Christ in Midlothian, Texas. Bevers' murder garnered significant media attention following the release of surveillance footage by the Midlothian police depicting an unidentified individual, seemingly clad in police tactical attire, wandering the church's corridors, intermittently shattering glass and accessing doors. Authorities suspect the individual captured in the video to be Bevers' assailant. Despite ongoing investigations, there have been minimal developments, and the perpetrator remains unidentified and at large. Hi, my name is Jack, and today we're going to look another horrific case of Missy Bevers. Terri Missy Bevers, born on August 9, 1970 in Graham, Texas, tied the knot with Brandon Bevers in 1998. A mother of 3 daughters, the Bevers family lived in Red Oak. Missy Bevers pursued a career as a fitness instructor, conducting Camp Gladiator training sessions at Creekside Church of Christ in Midlothian, conveniently located just 20 minutes away from their home. At 5 a.m., Missy was discovered by her students, who promptly contacted emergency services. She suffered a head injury and multiple stab wounds to her chest, rendering her unresponsive upon discovery. Despite the arrival of paramedics, Missy succumbed to her injuries shortly thereafter, prompting an immediate murder investigation. Eerie video footage from the church captured a figure wielding a hammer, maneuvering through various rooms within the building. At one juncture, the individual forcibly breached a door using the hammer, clad in protective gear including a helmet, gloves, shin guards, and vests marked "Police." Despite analysis of the footage, the assailant's gender remained indeterminate. Descriptions indicated the killer stood between 5 feet 2 inches and 5 feet 8 inches tall, with notably outward-facing feet and a noticeable limp. The scattered glass from broken windows provided a trail for law enforcement, aiding in tracking the intruder's movements. Additionally, footprints discovered at the back entrance suggested the perpetrator's method of entry, initially leading authorities to consider the possibility of a failed robbery. However, a thorough search revealed nothing missing from either the church or Missy herself, who still wore her wedding ring. The unprecedented homicide alarmed the local police, unaccustomed to such investigations in their neighborhood. The release of the video footage aimed to solicit public assistance, with viewers urged to focus on the distinctive gait of the individual. Subsequently, an influx of information flooded the police department, prompting involvement from the FBI and U.S. Marshal's Office to manage the influx of tips. Subpoenaed cell phone records unveiled Missy's interactions, including flirtatious exchanges documented on LinkedIn, as well as unsettling messages she had shared with a friend regarding an unidentified individual. Despite suspicions of potential contact with her assailant, the identities of those involved remained undisclosed. Missy's active social media presence inadvertently facilitated the tracking of her movements, particularly her plans for upcoming boot camps, including assurances that classes would proceed regardless of weather conditions. During interrogation, Brandon Bevers, Missy's husband, maintained his innocence, citing an alibi that was corroborated by investigators. He denied knowledge of anyone with ill intentions toward his wife, emphasizing her belief that she faced no threats due to the presence of her licensed handgun in her car. Contrary to Brandon's portrayal of their marriage as happy, investigations uncovered strains characterized by financial difficulties and infidelity. Further complicating the case, Brandon's father, Randy, presented a blood-stained shirt at a dry cleaner, attributing the stains to breaking up a dogfight. Despite Randy's alibi placing him in California at the time of Missy's murder, suspicions arose due to his physical resemblance to the individual in the church footage and his limp. However, subsequent investigation confirmed the presence of dog blood on the shirt, corroborated by Brandon's sister, Christy. In subsequent weeks, surveillance footage from a nearby sporting goods store revealed a Nissan Altima traversing a nearby parking lot hours before the murder. Despite public release of the footage, the vehicle's owner remained unidentified, leaving a crucial piece of the puzzle unresolved. Another vehicle that the police did not seek public assistance in locating was a dark SUV spotted exiting the church parking lot around 4:30 a.m. on the morning of the incident. In the autumn of 2019, authorities discovered that numerous phone calls had been made during the investigation, leading to a new lead involving former Lancaster police officer Bobby Wayne Henry. Henry, also a tactical officer, confessed to still possessing his protective gear, although it no longer fit him. Henry, a licensed security guard, participated in Missy's funeral and attended services at Christ Church in Creekside. He had a history of suspension from the police force due to aggravated sexual assault in 1996. Notably, his vehicle resembled the second car under investigation, and he also had a noticeable limp. Law enforcement consulted a forensic orthopedist to compare Henry's gait with that of the masked assailant in the surveillance footage, but the results were inconclusive. Furthermore, Henry's height, standing at 6 feet 1 inch, conflicted with the stature of the individual in the video. In June 2017, Henry denied any knowledge of Missy or even her name, eventually confirming his alibi for the night of her murder. Following 70 days in jail, he was released without charges and has since been cleared of involvement in the crime. Despite assistance from the FBI and the presence of seemingly viable suspects, progress in the case stagnated, instigating anxiety throughout the city of Midlothian as the perpetrator remained at large. Online sleuths delved into the internet for potential leads, although some crossed ethical boundaries in their pursuits. More recently, Missy's daughter Hannah recounted the challenges her family faced following her mother's tragic death, including unwarranted accusations directed at her father. She staunchly defended her father's innocence, emphasizing his love for her mother. In May 2016, the Midlothian Police Department released an image of a 2010 to 2012 Nissan Altima captured on surveillance cameras at SWFA Outdoors, a nearby sporting goods store close to Creekside Church, during the early hours of the morning. Authorities believe the vehicle, potentially adorned with an oval bumper sticker, entered the SWFA Outdoors parking lot at approximately 2 a.m., departing shortly thereafter. While the owner of the vehicle is not considered a suspect, Assistant Chief Kevin Johnson expressed interest in speaking with them to potentially aid the investigation. Later, in December 2016, SWFA Outdoors publicly disclosed the complete surveillance footage of their parking lot. The footage depicted the vehicle of interest arriving during the same early morning time frame as the murder, with the driver exhibiting peculiar behavior. The driver circled the store's parking lot, intermittently flashing the car's headlights, before parking in an isolated area for an extended period. The vehicle then departed onto U.S. Highway 287. As of June 2023, law enforcement has yet to identify the driver or establish a definitive connection between the vehicle and Bevers' murder. On Tuesday, April 18th, a somber gathering took place around a young red oak tree in Midlothian, a town with approximately 40,000 residents located half an hour southwest of Dallas. A modest group of townspeople whispered quietly near the tree, while an almost equal number of media representatives stood on the sidelines, cameras poised for the occasion. The reddish-brown stone at the base of the tree bore the inscription, "In Memory of Missy Bevers," and was signed, "Friends of UTS." The True Crime Broads podcasters had extended an invitation to their listeners for a tree planting ceremony in a local park. Some attendees wore black custom-made t-shirts emblazoned with "Justice for Missy, April 18, 2016, inside a large red heart. This particular Tuesday marked 7 years since the tragic murder of 45-year-old Terri Missy Bevers, a resident of nearby Red Oak at Midlothian Church. Initially, many locals harbored optimism that the case would soon be resolved. However, as time passed, that optimism faded. As the ceremony commenced, attendees bowed their heads in prayer during the opening remarks. Renee Rodden of True Crime Broads, clad in one of the custom-made shirts, expressed gratitude to the small but supportive crowd. She emphasized Missy's roles as a mother, sister, wife, and daughter, remarking on the relatable nature of the tragedy. Rodden urged continued engagement with the case, emphasizing the importance of maintaining momentum through ongoing discussions and the submission of tips. She highlighted the risk of stagnation if public interest waned. The ceremony was brief, with a former Midlothian police officer offering reassurance that investigators remain diligent behind the scenes. However, frustration lingered among many in Midlothian over what they perceived as a lack of progress in resolving the highly publicized murder case. Despite initial widespread media coverage, subsequent attention had dwindled, with only sporadic mentions on anniversaries of Missy's death. Missy's widower and 3 daughters, along with true crime enthusiasts who had been captivated by the case, continued to yearn for justice. As the event concluded, attendees voiced their discontent, exchanging theories and expressing disappointment at the lack of development. Some, like Pepper Kuykendall, pondered the overcast sky, wondering if rain would fall to nourish the newly planted red oak tree. "It's that time of year," Kuykendall mused. "April rains bring May flowers." Yet despite the anticipation, the rain never arrived. Watching cable networks broadcast stories about Missy's murder felt surreal to Brandon. His family's profound tragedy had been transformed into exploitative entertainment for countless anonymous viewers and fans of true crime. In the days following the incident, you're at home, watching news coverage from all over the United States, and you know they're going to feature a segment on it, he reflected. They'll have sensational banners scrolling across the screen like sex, lies, and murder or something similar. And you just sit there thinking, what? Brandon remains keenly aware of the ongoing fascination with true crime, including cases like Missy's. In his view, people are inclined to believe whatever narrative suits their preferences, regardless of the actual facts. For some, Missy's murder may be seen as a story ripped from a movie script. 7 years later, Brandon appears unaffected by others' opinions of him. His priorities are clear. His children come first, followed by his commitment to seeking justice through the investigation. He deeply cares about how Missy is depicted, recognizing that she's unable to defend herself.